Hey guys, so quick video about avoidance issues of vestibular migraines because I know there's loads of people that avoid doing certain things because they're terrified about getting dizzy again. But the point is, by avoiding these things, you're not going to get better. So I know for me, I avoided really busy roads because my balance was so off. I was worried I was going to walk into the cars and stuff, which I've actually done once before. And it's a joke with my friends, even now crossing roads, I feel like I'm going to walk into a car. I just can't cross roads. It's just really hard to cross roads this day, okay? My biggest one was the tube. I used to avoid getting the tube because when this started, I had 2 or 3 vertigo spin out on the tube and it was terrifying. And after that, I thought, I'm not going to get the tube again, ever. And I avoided buses and I avoided cars because I was so dizzy and I was so sick. I didn't want to be trapped on one of these, vehicles and have an attack, have vertigo, throw up in front of everybody, which is a big fear with this because you always have nausea. Um, so I avoided it for months and months. Then I realised by avoiding it, I wasn't going to go back and live a normal life. So I got to a certain level, I would say maybe 6, 7 months into this, where I had to get the tube to see a doctor. And I'm not going to lie, it wasn't fun. Yes, I had jelly legs. Yes, I felt sick. Yes, the anxiety was over the roof, but I did it. And then after that, I started to get the tube every week for a very small trip just to get kind of used to it, getting the tubes and transport again. And now it doesn't mean a thing to me. I can get the tube as much as I want. I did an 8-hour train ride to Cornwall. So you can't avoid things like this because a lot of people feel so dizzy, they want to stay at home, they want to look at their living room wall because they're so dizzy they can't do anything else. But what people don't understand is your vestibular system is broken. So if you just stay in that same room every single day and look at that wall, you're not going to get better. There's no vestibular exercises. There's nothing. There's no vestibular therapy there at all. There's not anybody walking past you. There's no cars. There's no noise. There's no supermarkets. There's no vestibular activity, and that's what you need to get better. So if it's completely quiet, completely peaceful, and you're just in your living room looking at a wall, highly likely you will not get better. Now, at the beginning stages, most of us are literally either bedridden for weeks and weeks, I'm not saying you just go out there and do a mile walk, but it's important to take very, very small baby steps, okay? Even if you live on a busy road, even if you can make it to your front door and you can see the road and cars going by and rush hour and traffic and people, that's still a form of vestibular therapy. That is still better than sat looking at a wall, okay? So no one likes to hear this, but you have to keep moving because the moment you stop moving is when it gets worse again. So during COVID lockdown, I was in my room most of the time. I didn't really go out. I would go out for like a walk to the supermarket and come home, and I spent hours and hours in my room and my house, and I started to get sick, and I didn't understand it, and I thought maybe it's the stress of lockdown and COVID, which is usually trigger stress, but then I realised it's because I'm not active anymore. I wasn't doing anything, and it's only when I started to walk a mile every day again, I started to really improve, really, really get better again. So it's just really important you don't avoid things. You don't avoid the supermarket. If you avoid the supermarket, how are you ever going to go to the supermarket for the rest of your life? If you avoid getting the bus or the tube, how do you expect to live life never getting those things again because you avoid them? If you avoid travel on a plane. I had hypnotherapy to fly again. I was that terrified about it, trust me. It wasn't easy. But yeah, you can't avoid things, guys. You've got to stay active. You've got to stay busy. It's almost like Rasputin when they say, it's my favourite thing, where they say he took tiny little bits of his, poison, so then he could never be killed. Well, he was killed. Great analogy there. But it's almost like you need to take these tiny little bits of poison every day. So even if you go to the supermarket, that's your little bit of poison for the day. But over time, you adjust to that, you get used to it, and it doesn't affect you anymore, It's not poisonous anymore, it's not scary anymore. So the main thing I'm trying to say to you guys is don't avoid things. Don't avoid things. Yes, rest, have a couple of days if you feel like shite, but then get up and go out again. And the amount of people I've had message me in the last 2 years saying they're bedridden, how did I get back after 2 years to walking and going out and stuff like that, when they've had this for 2 years and they're bedridden. And then I found out they weren't going out the house. They were just in the house the whole time. They wouldn't leave the house, literally. They hardly ever went for walks. They were too dizzy, so they avoided it. So they stayed at home. And nearly anyone that's messaged me that's been very, very severe, in all honesty, in general, they haven't gone out. They're not active at all. And all the people I know that have gone back to full-time work, that are living their lives, were active. Every day, a lot of them had kids and families, which is interesting, because they had kids, they had to carry on, they had to feed them, clothe them, take them to school, be a mum, you know. So it's just a fact, you know. It's a vestibular disorder. Your vestibular system is broken. To fix that, you need to get moving again. It's an actual fact. It's science. It's literally science. You have to get moving again. So yeah, guys, basically I'm saying I know how hard it is, to the terror, the anxiety, not being able to sleep, thinking, oh my God, I've got to get the tube tomorrow. I know. I haven't been able to sleep sometimes for 2 weeks knowing I had to get a plane. And I was nearly sick every time I went to board the plane because I was so terrified. And in the end, I had hypnotherapy, which did take the edge off about 2 years ago. And I will probably have hypnotherapy for flying again. But the point is, you've got to keep trying, or you will have no life. You'll just be in your room the whole time. You'll be in your house the whole time. That's no life. There's no life to live. Okay, that's it, guys.